Hey, what up, everybody? This is Stevie Breach coming to you. Monday Night Raw is coming right up around the corner, and it is basically put up or shut up time for the March 7th, 2016 edition of Monday Night Raw. We are 3 weeks away from WrestleMania, and there is no time to waste. As of right now, you've got the Shane McMahon versus Undertaker match, which in my mind is sort of the main event of WrestleMania, even though you've also got Triple H versus Roman Reigns. Another big match with a lot of stipulations about what the future holds for WWE. You've got your three-way for the Divas Championship, and you've got Dean Ambrose against Brock Lesnar. As far as I know, this is going to be a little bit of a light Monday Night Raw. No Undertaker, no Brock Lesnar, but there always is for room for surprises. The number one thing that is being pushed for Monday Night Raw is the return of Shane McMahon. He was not used last week, but we did see a lot of things posted from him online. He is taking training classes from MMA trainer Phil Nurse. He's having boxing sort of conditioning, lessons from Jim Quinn, and he also got in a lesson from none other than ECW wrestler Tommy Dreamer. Shane O'Mac has been a guy who's always sort of used a lot of, hook and mirrors and, lots of things in his matches, trash cans, basically anything that he can get his hands on. Shane McMahon has never really been the biggest guy, but he will take down anybody he can by any means necessary. And, lots of times when you think of, Shane McMahon, you think of him jumping off a Titantron. You think of him falling off of the top of the Titantron, being chased by none other than by Steve Blackman. But, this is a real big deal, and we're going to find out, what is going down at WrestleMania. When Shane McMahon was announced and he came back for his return, people thought there was no way in the world that he was actually going to wrestle this match. Well, here we are, 3 weeks out from WrestleMania. If Shane McMahon is going to get replaced, it is going to be on this show. That was one of my first thoughts, was what if Shane McMahon fell down a flight of stairs and was forced to be returned? They could be doing any sort of an angle, but in my mind, WrestleMania needs to be settled up by the end of this show. Do I think John Cena is going to replace Shane McMahon? At this point, I honestly no. Do I think Shane McMahon will somehow have John Cena involved in this match? Either, doing a run-in, coming down and being in his corner. I think that there's a good chance that something like that is going to happen. I think that Cena is somehow going to be involved with this match. Hell, I think The Rock, Stone Cold Steve Austin, Ric Flair, Shawn Michaels, anyone, the Mean Street Posse, anybody who's ever worked for the WWE has a shot at being in this match. But, Shane coming out, I don't know really what you can do at this point. I think that 2 weeks ago when you made the match, Shane coming back, really added to it. I don't know if you're just going to have a promo of Shane and none other than Stephanie McMahon, having them just sort of go back and forth against each other in some sort of a promo, basically saying, who loves their dad more or something like that. But, that's about the only thing that I can think of what's going down. I don't think that Shane's going to be wrestling in a practice match. I don't think that Shane is going to be getting physical by any means necessary. But I think a lot of people have a lot of questions about why Shane was all right with this. I mean, Shane says that he wants to own the company. Shane has the goods over Vince McMahon. We're supposed to think Shane has that lockbox with some sort of information that Vince wants, so that way Shane can't come back on any given day and say that he wants to run the company. Vince wants that lockbox, and maybe there's going to be hints that's what's going to be inside of it. Honestly, in my mind, I think this is going to be a lot like WrestleMania 8. Ric Flair saying that he's got the large pictures of, Miss Elizabeth that are going to fall down once he beats Randy Savage, and he's going to show the world. I don't know if he was saying that she was, naked in those pictures or something like that, but, he's definitely saying that they were going to be very revealing. I think that this is some sort of a stipulation that we're never going to get a payoff on. It's just, they mentioned the lockbox once, and that's going to be it. And we're going to see. I mean, honestly, in my mind, I think I got Shane winning the match at WrestleMania. But I think there's a lot of insider talk about Shane basically not being around after WrestleMania. So we'll see what's going down. It's going to be a big Monday Night Raw coming up on Monday. Big match being promoted for Monday Night Raw is going to be the new team of Y2AJ going up against the New Day for the Tag Team Championships. This is going to be on Monday Night Raw, of course. And WWE.com in their 5-point preview is basically saying that Y2AJ is riding a hot streak. Honestly, in my mind, since these guys have broken up, they've only won one match. And AJ beat Kofi in a singles match on SmackDown. So I don't know really what they consider as a hot streak. But I guess in WWE's, new terms of basically 50-50 booking going on with the writing staff, basically somebody wins one week and somebody wins the next. Sort of like what happened with The Miz versus Dolph Ziggler on Raw, and then you turn around and right on SmackDown, Miz, loses to Dolph Ziggler and loses any sort of momentum and any sort of steam that he would have had. But I guess a one-win winning streak is a big deal in the tag team division because Jericho and AJ are going to be going up against the New Day. Honestly, in my opinion, I've always thought that Jericho going up against AJ was going to be a WrestleMania match. I thought that basically putting them together as a tag team with Jericho showing AJ some respect, I thought that was a good way to put everything on hold because if we would have seen Jericho and AJ sort of have matches after Fastlane leading up to this point and then also to WrestleMania, we would have seen these guys fight for probably like 10 or 12 times before finally getting there. Although I do think the act as the New Day is getting a little bit tiresome to me. I think there are times when they've really came out and they've knocked it out of the park. But I don't know. This team has been doing it for about a year now. And in my mind, they've done just about everything there is to do. I think they're getting close to turning this team back to being a babyface to try and see if they can try to save anything left for them. But to me, honestly, it's just sort of like we've seen them do the same thing over and over and over again. I've heard the plans for the New Day is they'd be going up against shoot, what the heck is their name? The damn guys that seemed like they were going to be big deal, and then they haven't been nothing. League of Nations, Sheamus, Wade Barrett, Rusev, and Alberto Del Rio. Man, that team has been really ice cold as of late, and plus there's been lots of injuries throughout that team, and I guess it just didn't work out the way that they thought it was going to. But I don't know. Honestly, in my mind, I would guess that we've only got 3 weeks until WrestleMania. Anything that you want to be building up to be a big match, you're gonna have to at least name by next week. So honestly, in my mind, I wouldn't be surprised if Jericho turns on AJ in this match yet once again, sort of pulling them back out of the tag team championships. And I know that people keep waving the fact that they have a shirt up on WWE Shop that says Y2AJ. Anybody who bought that shirt is probably going to have a damn nice collector piece, a lot like the Sin Cara Pina shirt. I don't know really anybody that would be such a Jericho AJ fan to run out and buy the Y2AJ shirt. I know that Jericho is the guy that doesn't get a lot of merch, but AJ has that new shirt that just came out at the Royal Rumble. Still selling really well, still very popular. I'm sure it's going to sell a lot at WrestleMania. And when you look at the card, Jericho versus AJ is going to be a lot better than anything that they could do with Jericho and AJ in a tag team match. I mean, the last 2 years, maybe even longer, the tag team match hasn't even made the actual WrestleMania card. It's been taking place on YouTube or on the WrestleMania pre-show. So we'll see what goes down. It's going to be a big match, but honestly, in my mind, I see the New Day retaining as Jericho turns on AJ, and we're just set with another Jericho versus AJ, I guess 4 in their series of matches. One of the big features I think about Monday Night Raw is going to be Triple H versus Dean Ambrose. WWE has a live special. They don't want to sort of water this down by calling it a pay-per-view like everything else. This is basically supposed to be looked at as nothing more than a house show. Maybe look at it sort of like it would be a Saturday night's main event or something like that. But this is going to be a 3-hour bonanza, which is going down on Saturday. I found out that I got to work, so I'll be watching it on tape delay, on demand, once I get home. But I'm sure with Monday Night Raw, Dean Ambrose and Triple H is going to be the highlight because they are trying to push Roadblock as a new thing. It's not something that's been around before. Honestly, in my mind, I think that maybe last year they looked at the month that was in between the Elimination Chamber and no, there was no Elimination Chamber, in between Fastlane and WrestleMania, and maybe people that were looking to save a buck canceled the WWE Network and didn't have it for the month of March, seeing how you could sign up the day of WrestleMania and you'd have $9.99 in your pocket. Honestly, in my mind, I know this is getting way off the topic, but I've been watching a lot of the classic WrestleManias. I'm currently halfway through WrestleMania 17, and then for some other reason, I watched half of WrestleMania 18 the other day. So there's a lot of big, I said that right. I was WrestleMania 19 I was watching, and then I went, and then the next day I started WrestleMania 18, because I'm saving WrestleMania 17 for when Pinko gets home from college. We were going to watch that, but it's weird. I mean, definitely the one thing about WrestleMania that makes it special is that there is no pay-per-view before the pay-per-view, and you give time to really sink things in. Because what I think is it's going to be hard for, as we saw last week, we saw Ambrose ask for the match, and then basically Triple H had his goons out there, Del Rio, Wade Barrett, Sheamus, and Rusev. They all beat down on Dean Ambrose and left him laying, and then Triple H came out there and finished the job up and beat him up. And then Triple H thought he was made fun of when Ambrose thanked him for the match, so he came down there and he beat him up some more, and left Ambrose laying. Ambrose went into SmackDown. He had a match against Kevin Owens. It was a non-title match for the Intercontinental Championship, where Ambrose ended up getting the win. But when it comes down to pushing Ambrose on Raw, I've been watching wrestling for a long time. You can't, embarrass your upcoming challenger this times in a row. So you would think that he's going to get the comeuppance against Triple H. Because if Triple H beat him up last week and Triple H beat him up again this week, that would normally mean with a pay-per-view that Ambrose is going to win the championship. But we all know that's not going to happen because of WrestleMania. So is Triple H actually get a show face and, actually let Ambrose get some comeuppance on him? Because WrestleMania is right up around the corner. Roadblock is on Saturday, and then you've got 2 Raws, and then there's WrestleMania. So Triple H, who's going to be losing the championship more than likely, is going to need to be looking kind of strong here. I think that he's going to win the match, definitely win the match. But definitely there's going to have to be something to make Ambrose look like a viable contender to be going after the WWE Championship at the paper. Well, I guess not at the pay-per-view. On Monday Night Raw, he's going to have to look strong to be going up against Triple H at Roadblock. To finish out Monday Night Raw on the 5-point preview, basically they're going to be doing something with Kevin Owens to set up the Intercontinental Championship match. I'm hoping that basically The Miz and Dolph Ziggler is not going to be completing Kevin Owens' night, is making it a 3-way. For anyone who watched SmackDown, Dolph Ziggler's celebration after beating The Miz was beyond the point of embarrassing. I think we all know that The Miz is a good wrestler, he's a good entertainer, but Dolph Ziggler beat The Miz and then ran into the crowd like he had won the World Heavyweight Championship. Honestly, in my mind, I found that it was a little bit embarrassing. I thought that it was a little bit too far over the top. I don't know if it's just going to be these guys. Basically, we've seen the Big Show mixed up with Kevin Owens. I believe they've had 2 matches together. And in my mind, they've been very entertaining. When Kevin Owens was wrestling as Kevin Steen in Ring of Honor and on the Indies, I never really looked at him and said, I would like to see him have a match with the Big Show. But the second this was dropped in my plate and I'm looking at the Big Show versus Kevin Owens, I got giddy inside. And I was like, this is going to be fun. So I don't know if they're going to be having some sort of a 5-way match. Everybody thinks that it's going to be a ladder match because they had a ladder match last year. But whatever they do, it'll be fun, and it's going to be awesome to see Kevin Owens wrestle in his first WrestleMania. On SmackDown, they named that there was going to be a 3-way for the Divas Championship, which is going to be Sasha Banks, Becky Lynch, going up against Charlotte. Anything that they do here is going to be fun, just as long as they don't do what they did for that 3-way between John Cena, Edge, and Triple H back like in 2005. I think that was for Backlash. And, basically the build-up for that was they were going to do 3 different handicap matches where it would be like Edge and John Cena against Triple H, and then it was John Cena and Triple H against Edge, and those matches weren't fun. But the wild card in this is Sasha Banks. No, because I was going to say that basically they've all been friends with each other because Sasha Banks and Charlotte, I believe, had some sort of a relationship together.